But, you know, I ultimately didn't have that sour of an attitude because I was eating good. I was eating Hamburger Helper, those White Castle slider burgers. I was trying more things by that point. Also, I was eating Philly cheesesteaks. I had some good food. It was a definite good time. And of course, I was smoking cigarettes at that time as well. So it was just, you know, you just kick it and lean back and you've got tons of stuff to do. But 2012 was Strawberry Soda. And so by that point, I was, you know, I still could not find any video games worth playing. So that kind of happened. But, you know, really 2012 was just like a rather strange year just because video games were not quite upgrading to the next genre yet. But we were still kind of playing the old stuff. So you had Gears of War 3, you had all these sorts of things that were going on. Movies were still coming about. And once again, I was just kind of not that interested in movies just because there just wasn't anything worth seeing. You know, those movies like Napoleon Dynamite and Rush Hour and like Bill and Ted and Super Mario Brothers and what else? Austin Powers. You know, you just couldn't necessarily pull those movies out of your ass like you could before. I mean, even concepts like the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I mean, what was Judd Apatow doing at that point in time? You know, it was just, there were tons of people. Directors were getting bigger and bigger, but, you know, the movies were just becoming more about the experience more than the actual. Well, I don't even know about that. I mean, I just wasn't doing it. But yeah, Strawberry Soda. There was also something called like Raspberry Ginger Ale, and that was really good. I love that. You know, I think it only comes out for the holidays. But, yeah, I mean, there were just things like that. And Coca-Cola had come back into my life. I had always drank that, but, you know, this is a fairly basic soda, and, you know, this didn't really have a lot going on. But, you know, Pepsi was probably one of the least ones. But alright, 2014, and this is about the beginning of where life kind of started, you know, peaking up, just getting more enthralling, started drinking Red Bull. So, you know, basically Red Bull is an energy drink, and it's definitely one that, you know, bumps you up. If you've seen the commercials, the drink itself is probably about 15 years old or so. It used to be like these little cartoon commercials and everything, and they would just talk about how it gave you wings. And I've actually mentioned in a video about that, but so yeah, I just never had tried the drink because I didn't believe them that it would actually get me energized. But I had an energy drink before, I just don't remember when and where. So I remember it was green, but so, you know, there were other drinks I had tried sporadically, like Sobe and stuff, but I just didn't fuck with Red Bull. And so, you know, earlier in the year, my family was saying, well, this is probably not a drink that we're going to, you know, want you drinking just because we've heard that it puts people in the hospital. And so I thought, I sincerely doubt that that's the case. And I looked it up, and it doesn't. You know, if you take it to an extreme, possibly, but too much caffeine is always going to be bad for you. The same thing to tell about a person who drinks 4 cups of coffee a day. So, you know, just don't do it. You know, it's the only, you just have to exercise caution. But, you know, and lastly, we come up to 2015, where I had tried lattes, so now I'll drink a little bit of stuff in the coffee region, and the original Mountain Dew, just because I like gaming, and that's something that I don't have a problem with, you know, allowing to run me. You know, people liking the green Mountain Dew, and, you know, supporting things like Doritos and nachos and all those little gaming snacks. I actually knew a list of them before, but I might just make like an article for some gaming snacks. That'd be a good idea. And lastly, you know, the most recent is root beer. So I saw a video where someone picked it up, and I said, well, root beer is a drink that I've always had problems with, but I just never really have had in my body. And I've tried it at least 3 or 4 times in my life, but I just never really got to the point of drinking it. And I drank it the other day, and I thought, it's not bad. It's really sugary, but I don't have a terrible problem with it. So it's a drink that I'm going to continue with. But yeah, it's just a story of something, you know. Really, you know, as life goes on, I like stories, and this is interesting to the point of saying, well, what were you doing while you were drinking these things? And most of it just had to do with just nights out, hanging with the guys, playing video games until the morning, passing out on a couch, eating pizza, smoking cigarettes, and, you know, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, the one thing I will say is I just wish that I would have actually gone more places than just the house. Which, you know, I might make some videos about that, but, you know, I just was never the person that could say, let's go bowling. Which is something I would say now. But, you know, this is... it's intended to be like a story just so you know, and it makes you question as to whether or not your life was interesting. So, I know that's strange, but it's worth telling, you know, you definitely got to do it.